Hey,
Hi.
hey, hey. How about that? That was flawless, and it was me doing it, everybody. Just so
It
you
was
know.
not flawless. There was a flub at the beginning.
It was not.
There was. Trust me, I notice when I make mistakes, and there was a flub.
Oh, well, it was your mistake then, not mine.
It auto started the video, and I didn't realize that. I thought I had to hit play, so I actually paused it for a split second and then had to play it again.
Oh, well, no one would have noticed.
I
Why
know,
would
but
you
I'm
say anything?
forthcoming with my flaws. That's why I don't interview well.
Yeah. Yo, YouTube, welcome back to the live second show of the year, first show of the year, right? Because we did a New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us. We're going to have another great year of Wednesday live. So every Wednesday, 8 p.m. What the heck? That got weird.
Why do you have two screens going?
Because I run one on my phone and one on my computer because it's easier to control the
okay.
like the intro thing and stuff. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, so we'll be doing this again. Right. We'll continue to do this every Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. So try to join us live so you can be part of the chat. That's the interactive part is very fun. So we'd love to have you do that if you're watching this recorded in the future. Try to join us live. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications because that'll tell you when we go live. This will be that nice, gentle, massaging reminder on Wednesday, right before the live.
Song, Ring My Bell, if I'm remembering correctly.
Ring my bell.
Well,
No, that's
back even more.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Keep their heads ringing. Maybe that's what you're thinking of. Keep their heads ringing. Ding, ding, dong. That was Dr. Dre. Yeah.
Ding, 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 dong.
Yeah. Classic.
Yes.
It's crazy that stuff is called classic now. All right. I'm gonna delete this on here. There we go. That'll be better lighting.
Delete.
Moving some stuff off the screen. Okay. So, happy New Year, everybody. I hope you had some good holidays. We had fun last week doing the show. New Year's Eve, never thought we'd do one on New Year's Eve, but why the hell not, right?
There you go.
Yeah, so we kind of closed the year out that way. Today, we want to talk a little bit about resolutions for the new year. We want people in the chat to chime in on this too. Let me know, what is your New Year's resolution? Try to keep it to card selling type things if you would, but if you want to shout out a personal one, that's fine too. We just don't need to have that. That's not what we're looking for necessarily. And then we want to talk a little bit about the big upcoming change in eBay promotions and how they're going to charge you for those if you do them, and some strategies on how to avoid some of that. So, but first, I want to talk about the GOAT Show. We had a GOAT Show on Sunday, and honestly, I kind of think it was our best one yet.
Or maybe I should be going
like Eddie. That's Stranger Things.
Did you watch it finally?
I did not watch the final, but I the whole season is done. I haven't watched the finale yet.
So we got to still hold up on any spoilers for you?
That's correct. So, yeah, because I was like 6 episodes out, so I did squeeze those in after the last few days, but I haven't done the finale yet. I want to watch it in the theater. I watched some of the regular
doing that.
No, like my theater.
Oh, I heard they were actually playing that episode in theaters, though.
They did
for that experience.
Well, movie theaters are trying to get $1 out of you somehow. Nobody's going to see like actual movies.
True story.
Yeah.
Never ending.
But yeah, right. But anyway, not for what I was saying. You keep distracting me. What was I talking about?
Me. Stop it. Stop poking me.
Oh, the GOAT Show. Yeah, I thought it was I kind of thought it was best one we've ever had, and just the way that it seemed to flow. We had really good turnout. We had a lot of people report that they were coming. We were a little more focused on our ad placements and things, which I think paid off. Raised the most money we've raised ever for one of our charities, $306 to St. John's homeless shelter. So that was a great effort.
Right.
We had good attendance from the dealers, good attendance from customers. The break sold out really fast with BB. They did a great job. Pulled a downtown out of the case.
Yeah, I heard
So that was pretty cool. I've never seen a downtown get pulled out of a pack, and I was like literally there when it happened. Because it was super early on in the break. It was like pack number 10 or something insane. So that was fun. We always like having them there. I'm sure they'll be back for the next one. Speaking of which, our next one is March 29th. So we want to get that one on the calendar. We do have our charity tied down for that one. It's going to be the PACE program, which is Pulaski like food collection type of thing. So we'll be asking again for some non-perishable foods. Bring those in. You get a drawing entered in the drawing for some autographed memorabilia. I do not have that item to announce yet, but I will very shortly. We're working on that. We've got somebody that's donating that is volunteering to do it. I just don't know what the item is yet. So when we get that, we'll put the flyer up. We'll do all that stuff. It is only like 3 days after our previous show, so don't need to necessarily rush to that. But with that said, we're over 60% sold out for the March show already. So if you want a table, So if you want a table, you're going to need to get to us pretty quickly, but not for the next week. This week, it's still opened up to current dealers. They get first shot at tables. I'm sure we won't completely sell out, or we can open the extended section if we need to, and then we'll be offering the rest of the tables to anybody else who wants to book. Great show. Do all the same things next time. We'll have the goats, the find a goat game. Charlie and I are going to do Car Dealer Pro demos live. Since we both have scanners now, it makes a little bit more sense. We'll be set up there doing some work essentially, and showing people, anybody who's interested, we'll show you how to use Car Dealer Pro and how we do it. So hopefully we'll see even more of you there. We will do a live video from the stage, of course, to try to give everyone a taste of the show, even if you can't be there. I think that's a fun piece of it, and show off some pickups and open some packs and lose on scratch offs and all the same, usual things that we have going on. Right. What do you think? You got some good pickups. I know you were pretty happy with the stuff you bought.
I did. Yeah. I thought, I was successful on all my goals for the show as far as pickups go. I'd grade myself out at like, I don't know, like an A-. I thought I did pretty good against my goals. Had just a couple of cards that kept me from getting a perfect grade on it. But really good to see that I've focused my buying strategy, and I'm recognizing those cards better, and really being disciplined. That's the word of the year for me. Disciplined.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to a conversation we had a few weeks ago about always be buying, but buying smartly. Not just buying everything. I mean, we even had more and more now. Charlie and I are getting dealers that are saying, "Hey, buy out my whole box. Buy out my whole box." And while I want to do that, and I do that pretty regularly. In fact, I bought two rows from someone at the show, but I don't really need the inventory, as I know Charlie doesn't necessarily either. So I want to be a little bit more discerning, especially if it's stuff that's going to sit around. Now, one of the 2-row boxes I bought was all Mahomes and Brady's. So that's like buying cash in a way at a discount. So, there are certain situations where that makes sense. And then I bought a second box because I was already buying the first box and I could get a better deal on the second box, that whole thing, right? Kind of runs down the line sometimes and makes more sense. But I was actually most pleased with my purchase we made in the last like 15 minutes. We quick pushed through before we went to do the drawing because I found a
Yeah.
bunch of mid 2010s LeBron cards, inserts and stuff
Really?
in that quarter box. Yeah, I think I sent you a picture of the one card I got two of. The 12, 13, 14 Panini Exceptional. They only made that set for like 1 year.
Right.
And
Yep,
it's
I
LeBron
remember
doing
that.
the chalk toss, and those things go for like 30 a piece. I paid a quarter for each one. So I sold one already today. So
Very nice.
quick turn there. But yeah, so I think I've got my card show buying in for a little while now, and I can kind of sit and get through some of that stuff and keep moving. Got some good Kakawau, got some Disney stuff, that non-sport. I can buy non-sport all day long. Like there's always room for non-sport, and that's one of the things that gets kind of frustrating. We need to get down to the Chicago non-sport show. That has to be.
That's a must.
So we talked a little bit about resolutions. That's one of mine for this year is to get to a good non-sport show. I have a feeling it's going to be overpriced.
Well, that depends on, what pricing is all about opinions, right? So depends on whose perspective we're taking.
Yeah, it is and it isn't. I mean, I have to, you got to buy with margin.
Right.
So, unless it's super liquid, I keep my margins, pretty thick. I paid up for the Brady and Mahomes.
Say they're overpriced, but the seller would probably say they're actually priced just right.
Right. I don't want stuff that's priced just right. I want it underpriced.
Yeah.
At least on the bulk, if you get a bulk deal, that sort of thing. But yeah, so I think I think it was a great show, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. We keep building on it, and we get amazing feedback from the dealers. We've been very well supported and have a lot of regulars return. And I even had one dealer this weekend who sells some items that are different than a lot of the other sellers. And he had some buyers come in that had bought from him at the last Goat show, and they said, well, hey, this show's coming up. Are you going to be at that show? Or are you going to be at this show? And he goes, no, I only do the Goat show. And they're like, well, you should do these other shows. You'd get other sales. He's like, I get plenty of sales right at the Goat show. So I'm just going to do the Goat show. So I'll be here in March, And I thought that's kind of a cool testament, right? Like that's a pretty big thing, and so to some degree it's comfort, right? He has the same location every time and knows exactly how we do the billing, the location, how to load in, load out. So that I'm sure that's part of it too, but it was just it was a cool thing to hear that like we could provide him what he needed. And he's not like a full-time dealer or anything, to be fair. Okay. So that would make things a little different. You'd have to get out to wherever you could get out to, but he does this as something that he enjoys and keeps him involved in the hobby, and he likes to do it through our show. So I think that was kind of our goal, try to be a unique spot to be provide the experience. The food, dude, they had a $6 shrimp basket. You got like 3 freaking jumbo shrimp things and a plate of fries for $6. It was a heck of a deal. Huh?
It's great for sure.
Yeah. And then they had the beef tip sandwich back. That's what I got because I'm not passing that up for anything. And that was amazing. $6 with fries. They had, I think it was $6 with fries. I might be slightly off on the prices. 6 or 7, something like that.
$6.99 maybe.
Yeah. Either way, it was a very good deal. And then they had the chicken fingers. They had the and burgers, I believe it was hamburgers. So nice selection. It was a lot of fun. Charlie made me an amazing gift. I do not have it in front of me, but go watch the live video we made during the show. It's posted here, and watch it because you'll get to see all my goodies that I got from him. So very appreciative of that. That was just more than you had to do for sure.
I was fun putting it together too.
Yeah, I could kind of see that, like that. Yeah, that those little baskets where it's like your stuff you're into. That's kind of a fun task. I can understand that. we had some good pickups. We didn't really open. Well, I did open 2 packs. I had there were packs in the box,
Yeah.
so I opened those. You'll see those too if you watch that video. Um, but yeah, we're really proud of the show. It's doing really well. So we'd love to have any of you come out that can. Otherwise, again, stay tuned for that live show from the stage, and we'll bring it to you. All right. Anything else you want to add from the goat show?
It's always impressive when we see a line waiting outside, right? And you open those doors and you hear that trampling of feet. That is just my favorite part when the show officially opens and you hear that trampling of feet coming in. That's always awesome.
So, and just so everybody who doesn't necessarily know, we do something a little different than most shows. We do not allow people in early. Most shows just kind of, once the dealers come in to set up, you can kind of walk around and start going. We don't do that for a couple of reasons. When I would set up as a dealer myself, it's kind of annoying. You're trying to get your stuff set up and somebody could grab something because you're trying to get your table set up and, can I buy this? Well, sure. I'm still trying to set my cards out and now I'm doing transactions, especially for a show as busy as ours. We get, a really good turnout. So it's busy right from, like you said, the first minute. I also like the fact that it just gives everybody an even playing field, right? The show opens at 9. If you're there at 9, you'll be one of the first ones in. You don't have to go, okay, well, the show opens at 9. I have to get there at 7:30 because I know John will be there at 7:30 and I buy the same stuff out of the boxes that he does, right?
That's the conversations we have.
Yes. Yeah. Well, even you and I do that. Yeah, we have to play nice sometimes too. So not just that, but I think there's some buildup of anticipation, right? And that's part of the fun of the show. We want people to come in. We want them to make deals, get fun cards, make money, whatever it is. But it's still ultimately a hobby and something for fun. So you kind of it's like it's kind of like Black Friday shopping back in the day. Half the fun was like standing in line, getting ready, and then the doors open and you go running in there. And I got the 55-inch TV. I like that part of it. It also gives us as the promoters a chance to kind of make sure we got everything set up and we do a lot more, like I said, than some shows do, where we have to like set up our live show on the stage. We've got the breakers. We got to make sure that they've got everything they need. There's just some of that stuff we have to kind of take care of, and we really need the doors closed until that's ready to go. We have giveaways, we have packs we give to the kids, we've got drawings we got to take money for. There's a bunch of things that are going on, and it really allows us to make sure we're in the right place for when everybody comes in, so you get the best experience as a guest at our show.
One of the nice compliments I got from the show this time is one of our directors where I work came in because her son recently got into sports cards. And so I made it a point to find her at one point and her son and say hello and tell him a little bit about the show. And Monday morning, she came over to me in the office and she goes, that was really well done. Like, that's a thing, she said.
I think when you tell people like, hey, I run a card show, they think of, like card shows when we were kids, right? It's a little back room in a bowling alley. It's like 10 tables and, it's $10 to get a table and it's a cash deal. And that's about it. Right. We don't want to do that. We want to have it be a big experience. We have so many families that come. We have parents with kids and they love it. The kids have a good time. They get to find the goats. They get a little pack, we have plenty of seating, you can just come and sit at one of the round tables. You can break a box. You can make a trade. You can, sit and have something to eat. Like I said, the food is amazing and very fairly priced. So, I think what we said, and we've said this a lot. I don't want to, overplay this either, because obviously you're not all tuning in to hear about our card show. But since it is fresh, it would just happen this past week and it's relevant. But I think we're really doing what we set out to do.
Exactly.
We're staying our course. We tied a charity to it again. We've got a bunch of donations. They're still sitting in my dining room. I got to get over there. But I've got, bags and bags of food and clothes and all kinds of stuff to donate. And these charities are so thankful, and we give them money. A lot of these charities get stuff, but they never get any money. And stuff is great. That definitely helps people too. But sometimes you just need money too
Right.
for different operating things and expenses. And I remember Paul's Pantry, when I went and dropped the food off there, he was like, "Oh, thank you so much for the cash." He's like, "We've been using this old like wheeled cart forever to truck around these boxes of food, but it's like we don't get monetary donations, and we're not going to sell the food to buy a cart, right? So so it's nice to see that we can help them meet some different needs. We get a really nice memorabilia item, out to one of our great customers. Our vendors have been amazing and donated items for us to give away. So everybody's really bought into it. And I think that's a really important part of what we try to do. You get these families in there, right? And these little kids and stuff, they see you, giving to a cause, bringing bags of food, buying the tickets to give money to these charities, things like that. I think that just looks great for everybody all the way around, right? And it's a lot of fun.
One of Caleb's basketball coaches came in, and I think he picked some stuff up because he came over later and he's like, "Hey, if I give you a list of Asian basketball stars,
Yeah, I heard that.
know when you come across them."
That's a very interesting request, but I kind of like it.
Yeah,
because I feel like that's a true challenge. You'd really have to put some effort into that one.
So, quick pull: Asian basketball stars: Jeremy Lin, Yao Ming,
Mm-hmm.
and then who?
I've never heard of him.
You've never heard of either of them?
I've never heard of Then Who. You just said Then Who. I don't know who Then Who is. Sounds Asian.
I think that was a predecessor of Venmo.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, I don't know. I never really like. Oh, Hachimura.
Rui Hachimura.
Rui Hachimura. Oh yeah, I'm kind of stumped after that one.
Yeah.
Well, at least I threw one in there.
I'm sure Chad will throw some in there.
Yeah. So great show. Enough said about that. We'll move on, but really happy about that one. So, and the other thing I liked about it is, the last one we had some things we had to work out, and I feel like we really did everything we needed to do to get it right back to where we wanted it to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's important too. All right, let's go on to, let's see. What else we were going to talk about? Let's go on to New Year's resolutions, and then maybe we'll hit the chat and see what everybody wants to do. So do you have any resolutions for this year on the card selling side?
Yeah, I already. Well, it's really more on the. Well, it's both. So I'm going through a transition in my store. If you heard the podcast this week, I talked about being in the stage of being a middle seller. You're no longer a newbie. You kind of have some things figured out, but you're also not scaled up so big it's on autopilot. And you're in that middle ground where it feels like you're working a lot more, but your bank account's not necessarily a lot more, right? Yep. So my reset this year has been focused around that. So when I talk about resolutions, it's about that big D word that we talked about already, discipline. But buying better, pricing differently, operating my store differently, sorting my inventory differently with different goals for different types of cards. Really a full makeover for my store. So all of my, I wouldn't call them resolutions. I have a new operating plan for 2026 that I want to execute, and that requires a lot of change. So it feels like resolutions. I'm going to change something, right?
Sure.
But it's very, very business related, and I'm excited about it. I kind of started with some of it in November when we had that slowdown. And I started assessing some things and making some subtle changes. But starting January 1st, like I took a hard line and I said, this is what I'm doing moving forward.
Yeah, and I think that's, at the time you are right now with your business, it is the right time to sort of do that. You kind of
Mhm.
got your operations down, you've got some customers, you got a good feel for the cards that can go out and, what you got to price and, all the things you have to have down before you can really fine tune it. And now
Yeah,
you can take it to that next step and go, okay, I need this to be more efficient. I need it to be more profitable. I need to cut my
absolutely.
expenses. I need to manage my inventory better, all the things. Um, and I would still call it a resolution, right? Because it is something that you're changing. You're resolving, right? You're resolving the problems that you have, and making those changes. I kind of have the same thing. I kind of been doing that the last few years. I have I pretty much have a business that just does kind of hum on its own. I probably don't even have to touch it for a couple of days and it'll still be where it needs to be. Um, versus I got to scan, I got to, need to list, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Um, that pressure is not there. The bigger pressure is on getting more non-sport stuff. But, even that I can still do pretty casually, cause I have enough else going on. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you with that. It's make some more tweaks and, we have to take things as they come too. There's changes on the platforms, there's changes on the way customers are buying, the way other sellers are selling, so you have to kind of change with the times as things happen too.
Yep.
Tax strategies, stuff like that. None of that stays the same from year to year. You can't anybody who says I'm just going to set up this business and walk away and it's going to run forever, it's unless you're super lucky or you have an extremely consistent business type model. I just don't see that being very successful too long. So the other thing I want to do, so for me, for my resolution outside of that, would be to keep expanding into other areas. So I really want to finish my Shopify store. I want to continue to add to Whatnot and collects. I've even thought about, like I've got the store maxed out for sports cards. I've even thought about just keep scanning and listing them on Whatnot and collects because I get a pretty good amount of sales on those sites now too.
Yeah.
And they don't really limit me. So why not just keep feeding those monsters? And, if they don't sell on eBay, they'll sell there. And to that end, I still want to try to get a plan in this year to uh, get a more consistent live selling show. Um, last year I spent a lot of time just trying to work with eBay and eBay Live, and I think I'm done with that, and I'm just going to continue to work on Whatnot. I really like how the fixed sales coincide with the live selling there.
Right.
I think they do a good job of it, and I could save myself some money because it's not as like price competitive there.
Mhm.
Which again, looking at the tweaking and the management portion of it, that's something I want to do. So if it's already there and I can take advantage of that, why not?
Right.
Um, but yeah, filling out the shop, building out the rest of the Shopify store and getting that all really set up and flowing, that'll be a big one for me this year, running my own website store, if you will.
Yeah, that'll be huge for you if you can get that off the ground.
Yeah, I got a it's under construction. But I have a pretty good chunk of what I want it to look like set up. Now it's just a matter of making sure things fit in there correctly, building categories, like, all the prep work before I put all the items in and turn it on. So it's not terribly far off. we'll keep
Yeah.
working on it. But it's such a side gig, it's so busy with the other stuff. Like it can't be the focus
Right.
entirely. So that's why it's just kind of whatever can get done gets done, and that's about it day to day. But yeah, and the other thing is keep expanding on the products. So I want to look at doing more TCG. I have another store I want to open. This is down the line. I don't even think it's for this year, but since we're talking about basically future goals, I want to open a TCG player store and start selling TCG cards there.
Okay.
Magic, Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all the things.
One
Because
Piece.
that's something that, I talked about last year wanting to expand more into, is to do TCG and then open a TCG store. I
Mhm.
feel like there is the better place to do it.
Okay.
It's a little bit I looked into it, quite a bit on costs and things like that. And I feel like that'll be a good place to have some exposure.
Okay.
So now the other thing is, once you sell enough on there, I don't want to go into too many details. If you're interested in TCG Player, you can check it out. But you have to hit like certain accomplishments, and then you like tier up as a seller, and they
Mhm.
let you do a little bit more stuff. So there is a tier where you can do a CSV upload. So I like that option because I can build the listings on Car Dealer Pro, and then just take the CSV and put it on TCG Player. If that makes sense.
You lost me when you said there's a tier, because from that point forward, all I could think in my head was there's a tier in my beer.
It's the other tier, not that tier. Don't cry over it. So I have been looking into some future planning on different things I want to do. I do like static selling more than live selling, so I want to continue that in my business plan of, working it into my growth, but growing out a little bit more than up necessarily.
Mhm.
So, because I've been pleasantly surprised with Whatnot and collect sales. I really thought, I'm putting my catalog on Whatnot, and I don't think anybody buys any, static listings on there. I was totally wrong on that one. So,
Yeah.
and collects too, for that matter. I don't do quite as much on collects as I do Whatnot, but still fairly consistently have sales on there. It's nice to get a deposit from 2 other stores,
It is. Yeah.
besides the other 3 stores that I run. So, uh, yeah. And, I think we talked about it quite a bit last year when I decided I was going to open the second store. People are like, you can't run 2 stores. It's too hard. Nah, it hasn't been hard at all. So, yeah, it's a little bit more, re- to like tax reporting, right? Because you got to have statements from 2 different places, but whatever.
It's just one big pile of money you have to report. So,
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah.
So, and I had to work on some things to get that to really work, right? So I had to try to figure out how to create a second Car Dealer Pro login. That was way more difficult than it needed to be. Spent a
Yeah.
lot of time on the phone doing that and trying to go, oh, well, I bet if I did this, then I could do that. So, it was a little bit of reinventing the wheel at times,
Mhm.
but things are going well that way. So I want to continue that expansion, get myself out there even more.
Yeah, you talked about the live selling a little bit. I guess technically that's a resolution for me, because I do need to enter into the world of live selling this year. It is a viable sales channel that I've got a use for, with certain inventory. So I do want to enter that channel. And now I've been helping other people get going on Whatnot, and I've gone through the motions of setting a lot of stuff up. I just haven't scheduled it and gone live yet. And I guess really I just need to make sure that I can commit to a schedule on that and have a regular presence.
That is by far the hardest part.
Yeah.
And you want it to be scheduled where people are actually going to, watch, where you can try to get some real audience, especially when you're building it, because you're not going to get a lot of people in the streams and bidding and things like that, the first few that you do. But yeah, I was way more encouraged by it towards the end of the year when we were, when they came up with the cross listing on Car Dealer Pro where we could send the stuff to Whatnot, because now I can use the live selling to help my static selling, which my static selling can help my live selling. I feel like there's a little bit more tie-in there than just randomly doing a live show and people don't know who I am kind of thing.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Somewhat, yes. Yeah. Yeah, they can each benefit from each other, so why not? And I think there's always inventory that you can move live.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
I mean,
all right,
it's easier to move the live inventory a lot of times.
Well, I don't know. Do some shows and you'll find out. How is so this person that you're helping? I'm not going to call anybody out, but how are his shows going? Is he getting audience? Is he getting bids? Is he?
He's growing.
Figuring out what to move.
They're progressively getting better. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's having better results.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. He's got one scheduled each of the next 2 nights now.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, good. Hopefully he continues to make that work. It's also it's also becoming a pretty crowded field.
It is.
So it's it's like, oh, let's all run to live selling, and sometimes I look at like the Discord, for example, which the link is running along the bottom there. Join that; it's free if you haven't already. But sometimes I look at, oh, I'm gonna stop doing this, and now I'm just doing live selling, and I'm like, well, that's one more place for me to be able to sell where there isn't another person in the space,
Right.
So I kind of, I don't think you should. Okay, for me, I would want to have both. I wouldn't want to do one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I guess is how I look at it. I think there's just too many advantages and disadvantages to each to really just go down one road.
That's my stance as well. It is one more lever that is not an all or nothing tool.
I look at it this way, like, okay, so I get sales on my sports store today, I get sales on my non-sports store, I get sales in my Shopify store, then I get sales on fixed listing on Whatnot, sales on fixed listings and collects, and then I have a live show that I get sales on Whatnot all in one day. That's a decent paycheck,
Right.
Versus, yeah, maybe it was a little bit heavier with just eBay before, but not to the amount that I make with all of them going together. So, and that one of the things I really like about Whatnot and Collects, I mean, Collects is kind of an afterthought for me. I just do it because it's there, to be honest with you. But I do get some sales out of it, but it's just not as good as Whatnot. But one of the things I like about it is I can put all my inventory in just those 2 stores. Like eBay, I had to create a separate store just for the non-sport due to listing limits and things like that.
Yeah, those other ones, they don't care what you list.
Right. So I like that part. Because there are times where I get somebody who buys a Nolan Ryan card and a Hulk card and a Magic the Gathering card. So it is nice to be able to put those in one spot. But that being said, I can't stop doing eBay either. It is still my best place for sales. So you have to still work within the eBay frame, which we're going to touch on some of their changes coming up in a few minutes, but they're not the only game, so I think it's really important to keep looking out at some different spaces and see what works for you.
For sure.
So, all right, should we get to some chat and see what our friends have to say about resolutions and such?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we've got Designated Hecklers here. Welcome back to the show. New Year, same great Wednesdays. Looks like you had a great time at the Goat Show. Thanks for sharing with us. Yeah, the, the show is so different whenever I rewatch it, because I don't always rewatch it, but sometimes I do. You can tell those are done in the morning because I am a morning dude, and I feel more put together, and I have some more energy and things. So I really enjoy doing them. I feel like I can give you a better piece of myself versus the late night gig that we got here. So late night for me. Okay, I normally go to bed at like 8:30. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so I really enjoy that. It's fun for me to have something to do, you know, on the screen in the morning. We do actually get results from it, just doing live too, because local people will see it and they'll come in and they'll be like, "Oh, I saw that they were live, so I forgot there was a show today, so I'm here now."
Right.
Um, so it's kind of fun that way too, because you get a few people in the door from it as well.
Yeah, I was still pumped up Sunday night. So I was pretty tired right after the show. So I went home and took a little nap, and then I woke up and like I was energized all night. I couldn't sleep. Didn't get to sleep till like 1:30, and then the alarm goes off at 4. So it was Monday was a tough day for me.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of felt the same way too. Like we got home, and to be fair, our whole families are going through this as well. But I get home and it's like, oh, we could make a pizza, we could do that, and I'm like, I'm ordering a pizza, it's getting delivered, we're eating it, and we're putting the box in the fireplace because I started a fire. So that's
Yeah.
as much work as I'm doing the rest of the day. And I was in my chair. I took a little cat nap here and there, but yeah, I had lots of stuff to do too. Going. I like to go back through my purchases and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, it was great feeling, great show. I was really excited about it. All right, Dan. Dan. Will Dan ever behave, or
Hey,
is he always just gonna
pickups on Sunday,
poof
bruh.
in and out? Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, Dan, because I'm sure you watched the live from the stage video, but I had givvies. I got givvies from a dealer. I even called them givvies because it was Sunday morning, so why not? But yeah, it's fun because we have certain dealers that are like, "Hey, I know you guys are into this. I'm going to bring that, for the goat show." So
Mhm.
I really like this space in between the shows instead of doing a monthly one where, like, I feel like some of these dealers kind of curate things for us,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Yeah, we promote the show, we host the show, but there's also great business buying opportunities for us at the show. Um, and I'd much rather do that than set up and sell. So keep bringing good stuff. We'll keep buying for sure.
Yeah, just to name a few dealers that always keep us in mind, but Keith is, he's always got great cacao that he curates for us. Mike Neer's always got some
Yep.
boxes for us. Mike D's always got some boxes for us. It's just, we've really got a great group of dealers. And some of them are on here tonight too. I saw Max in there tonight with
Yep.
he's always got great Pokemon inventory. So it's just we've built some great relationships with folks, and it makes it even more enjoyable every show.
Yeah. Completely agree.
Yep.
Oh, I just skipped Susie. Susie says, "Good day, all." So this is our Australian friend. Thank you so much. I know it's like 11 in the morning there or something, right? I think. Correct me
I
if I'm wrong.
I was talking to a dealer about Susie the other day because they were talking about the lives. And they said, "Yeah, I see you. You even got people from Australia on there now all
Yeah.
the time." And I was like, "Yep, we've got two Aussies on there pretty regularly, and Susie's one of them."
Yeah, I think that's something that's easy to kind of forget, right? Everybody gets in their own little small world, but it's really not that small a world. It's a big world, and there's a lot of different collectors and buyers and viewers, in this case, that are in different areas of the world. So it's
Yeah,
important to try to include as many people as you can, right? Everybody wants to have fun and be a part of it. So, as a matter of fact, Susie messaged me just a little bit ago before we started the show, just saying, "Hey, are you doing a live tonight?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely. We're going to be late because that's what Charlie does, but we're always on." So, uh, it was a fair question though, because we didn't do Chris. We ended up not doing Christmas Eve. That was actually me. I kind of said, "Oh yeah, we'll do Christmas Eve," and then I'm like, "That's not really going to work for the plans in my personal life." So, um, I apologize for that, but I did let everybody know ahead of time. So hopefully nobody jumped on expecting anything, but we were able to do the New Year's show. I thought it was a lot of fun, and we have no excuse to not be on here going forward now. So we'll be here. Susie said, "Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well." So do you guys do like the same kind of party there? I haven't watched any like Australian New Year's celebrations. Do you do like a ball drop and the confetti and the whole ball of wax? I would
It's all the
assume,
same,
but
just a day ahead.
right, yeah, they're just in the future. Yeah, that's true. Um, her New Year's resolution is to double last year's sales. That's very ambitious, and I know you can do it. So good luck. If there's anything we can do to help, within reason, obviously, from any of you, we'd be happy to do that. You know, we jump on the Discord and try to give advice or opinions as much as we can, as do others on there. So that's probably the best spot to go. But yeah, certainly don't hesitate to reach out if you need something. Dan's is to go live on Whatnot and perform givvies. So
There you go, Dan.
Yep, go ahead, do it. It's kind of like and Charlie will relate to this. It's kind of like starting a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
There's all these excuses why not to do it, and this video is not perfect, and I don't have the topic, and I don't know how to edit, and blah blah blah. You just gotta like make a video or two, or just throw it out there, and then you're like, well, I'm in it now. So, it's kind of like starting a project at your house, right? So, oh, I know I gotta repaint this bedroom. Well, if you don't buy the paint, if you don't buy the brushes, if you don't move any of the furniture, it's just never gonna go.
Yeah.
So you got to do those steps, get a little paint on the wall, and then you're like, well, this is it. I can't leave a streak on the wall, so I'm painting this whole damn room today.
You're invested. You're committed.
Yeah, you get pot committed, right? You've got something in it. You don't want to give that up. And you want to see a result, right? You don't want to just leave this partial thing hanging. So yeah, so do it. Do a show, see how it goes. If it's for you, great. If it's not, that's okay too. Bill is back. Bill says, "What's up?" True.
True.
He says, Cubs bolstered their rotation today. Hopefully Edward Cabrera can stay healthy. I saw that. They gave up some pretty good cheese to get him. With their top draft and things like that going over there. I do agree with you that I think he's got the talent, and can really help out the roster. But yeah, as with any pitcher, staying in the rotation can be complicated. So we'll see how he does. I do think that was their area for the most need. So at least they addressed, they've got a few decent pitchers in a rotation, but they don't have a full quality rotation. And it's so required nowadays, I think, in Major League Baseball to be successful.
Said everybody but the Dodgers.
Yeah, but think about it this way. Would the Dodgers have been there if they didn't have the full rotation that they have? I don't think so. I mean, all those pitchers.
They're the only team that probably doesn't always say they need more pitching arms.
Right. So, and they are continually successful. They also have great bats, by the way, but yeah, I think that's it. I think back in the day, you could kind of get away with like, oh, I got these one or two dominant pitchers, and we know we'll win every third and fourth day. We just got to get a few of the wins on day, 1 and 2 in there or whatever. You know what I mean? I kind of said that backwards because your top starter would be pitching day one, but you get what I'm saying. You needed those dominant pitchers that guaranteed you some wins, and then you just tried to find a few wins in the other spots, and that kind of worked. I don't feel like that's a very successful way to go, um, in today's game. But also, don't hire Emmanuel Clase. So there's that.
The naughty list.
The naughty list, yes. Yeah, I got some naughty guy cards, so that was kind of fun. Shout out to Keith. He always comes through. Max is on tonight. He says, show was exceptional. Thank you so much. Thanks again for being part of it. We have people ask about you. They like it when you're there. So we love to keep partnering with you and having a spot at the show and coming and having some fun, getting pickups. I think you were, got a pretty good consistent buying operation going on there as well. I saw people bringing in boxes and stuff. So hopefully you're getting what you need out of it. Sounds like you are with your comments. So
I can always tell when Max is having a good day because I don't end up getting a chance to say hi to him till like the second half of the show.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Gets away
I didn't either.
Right?
Yeah, there were a couple times where I saw like him walking, but then I was busy, and then I was walking past his table, and then he was busy, and yeah, I mean that's not necessarily a bad thing. We always have a few minutes at the end of the show to sort of kind of assess. Well, like what was good, what was bad, how did things go? We do kind of like a little quick post-mortem right at the show as we're closing up, and I like that because you can get feedback from people with emails and things like that, but sometimes it's nice to just, we're all here, let's just have a quick conversation about
right
how things are. Max does a lot of shows. He knows what he likes, he knows what he doesn't like, he knows what works, what doesn't work, so I respect his feedback quite a bit.
Yep.
And he'll also tell you if it sucks. Like he's straight up, which is good. That's good though. Let's see. Joe says, get a real goat and let people feed a card at $5 a pop to raise for charity. Just a thought. It's kind of awesome. So we'd kicked around different or a goat costume kind of thing and do something with that. We haven't really revisited that recently. We've been so busy with some other things too. So we've kind of just been operating the show and not really adding a lot of new stuff. But this year that might be, excuse me, I don't know about adding a live goat, but adding another fun angle to the show, I think would be a good time. I thought about like doing a dunk tank too.
Oh man.
So like Charlie and I would be in the dunk tank. We'd have a goat head on, right? A goat mask on or something like that. And you could dunk the goat. You pay $1 to get a baseball and try to dunk us, and it goes to the charity. Like, I don't know, just something extra. I don't even know if we'd have room to do something like that there, but I don't know. It doesn't have to be a dunk tank, but just, I don't know, adding one more like fun or game angle to the show, I think would be pretty neat.
We actually, at one point, we did talk about having some goats there and like a petting area for kids.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be cool. $5 for charity will give you a junk wax card to feed the goat.
Yeah, I mean, we can't just feed a goat trading cards. Like we'd have to, I don't own the goats. So we'd have to talk to a goat person and be like, hey, we want to give this goat, 60 to 70 cards to chew on. Is that going to work?
We have to see how that works in a goat's diet.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the limitation? Do you want to give him like jersey cards, and then he's got a little piece of fabric to chew? I don't know. I also think that would have to be like a warm month type of thing, because I don't think we want to have goats in the building.
Yes,
so we'd have to like do a little outdoor pen. Yeah, like a petting zoo pen outside, and then we could. Yeah, I think what would be more fun. Well, no, that wouldn't be more fun, but it seems more practical. We could get a really cool shredder, put a goat head on it, and then just feed the card through the shredder.
There you go.
You know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I always have 1,001 ideas, but they're not always like practical or applicable to what we're trying to do. All right. Designated Heckler says goal number 1, list and sell my first ever card complete. Well, there you go. You got one off the list already. List 2,500 cards per month. Ooh, that's a big number. Stretch goal, drive to a goat show. Love it. We would love to have you. We do have quite a few people now that come from out of the area. I was pretty surprised. I talked to somebody who drove up from Illinois
right
to come to the show, and I'm like, well, I said, how the hell did you even hear about our show? And he's like, I don't know. Other people were talking about it that were down at the Chicago or the National or something, and said it was a good show, and they know the type of stuff that I buy. He's a whatnot seller. Okay. And said, hey, if you go up there, you should be able to get some stuff that you're looking for that, you struggle to try to get in your area. And yeah, so he was excited. He said it was a great show. He had a good time. So come on out. If you need help with accommodations or you want to hang out, if you're going to be here for a few days, we would love to entertain you and show you the town. Let's see. I'm loving Non-Sport 2 now, Spider-Man and Disney Kakao and Topps Chrome. Yeah. They're starting excuse me. Starting to put more quality non-sport out there. I just bought some Marvel Studios Topps Chrome, Disney Topps Chrome, SpongeBob was just out. Mm-hmm. There's some new Stranger Things products. They just did some Topps Now Stranger Things. Let's see what else is out there right now. I really like those Caillou cards. The blister pack ones where it was like the ponies and the Naruto were out so far. They're not gaming cards, they're trading cards.
Right.
So, obviously there's lots of different options for gaming cards too, but strictly speaking of non-sport, trading cards, not game cards. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it too. It'd be nice to have even more come out so I can fill my store a little faster, but good things come to those with the patience, I suppose, too. But yeah, because honestly, most of it has been like Japanese or Chinese releases the last few years, with Kakao and stuff like that. Even Caillou, that's obviously Japanese as well. I think it's Japanese or Chinese. I don't know. I'm not very good at deciphering the languages in those two cultures, but yeah, I agree. And Topps Chrome coming along now and doing more of it and getting some of the licensing and things. So hopefully we'll see more. I think it's great. Max says having the no early birds is a huge plus for him. Yeah, I mean I get way more positive feedback from dealers on that than anything else. A lot of the dealers, so that gives the dealers a slight advantage too, right? Like the show doesn't go if dealers don't book. Okay. So no offense to the customers, no offense to the staff at the venue, any of us, as the promoters, but dealers don't buy tables for the space. Like that's it. You're done. So we're very conscious of that, and dealers want some chance to do some shopping and have enough time to set up and not have to be there 3 hours early because John's there 2 hours early to get ready to go. So I think it's good, and it's not that long, right? Like, so most of the dealers get there, it takes them 15-20 minutes to set up, unless you're like five table dealer or something, then it might be longer, but you can get in, you can get your stuff set up, you can totally commit to that, and then the doors open and you're ready to go. Mm-hmm. I think it's better. Now I'm an early bird at the shows I go to because we don't have a choice, right? Because somebody else is going to be. So I think it's better for the shopper too, right? Like like I said earlier, they have the right expectations, Well, I know if I get there at this time, I can be in there right away. you know, it's just going to be a better experience for everyone. I understand that the one downside to it is once the door opens, boom, here they come.
Yeah.
But you can't have it both ways, right? Like I want people to be there at the start of the show, and so they're going to have to wait. And I don't want to let people in early, for the reasons I just stated. So I feel like it's still the best way to go. Now we're also fortunate because our venue has a vestibule. So this time of year when we're doing a show, it's not exactly nice outside.
No.
Um, so it's good that at least we actually had a lot more than what was could fit in the vestibule and had a line outside. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like at least we can accommodate some of the people that are coming in early. At least they have a nice space to be in before the actual doors open up. They're not, forced to stand out in the cold.
Right.
So yeah, we're going to continue that. It's worked really well. It's good for us. Like I said, too, as the promoters and getting all our stuff going. And there's a light out in the ceiling over here. Okay, well we can change that quick before there's like 500 people in the room, and that gets more complicated. So this really gives us a chance to make sure everything's the way it needs to be, so that everybody gets a great experience. Right, Charlie?
That's right.
Max says Yee. I don't know who's Yee.
Yeah, I think this goes back
He's
to the Asian basketball players. I don't know
right.
who Yi was either, though.
Taboose?
Tabuse?
Is that what it is? I don't know.
I
Doesn't
don't know.
sound Asian.
I'm not
He
familiar
could
with
be
them
right though.
either.
Like I stink at basketball unless it's like Jordan and Pippen and like those, dudes everybody knows. I don't really follow a lot of basketball.
Yeah.
Dan says I was thinking Yuta Watanabe. I don't know. Sold an auto of his a few years back. Interesting. You forgot Wang Zhizhi. That's right.
I remember him.
I do too. Max is taking a massive step forward myself. Hopefully within the next 2 week papers will be signed. Oh.
Prenup?
Are you opening a store? Is that what you're doing? Huh. All right. More to come. Stay tuned,
Yeah.
everybody. Find out what Max has going on. Susie says my second resolution is to be able to fly to the US and attend the National in July this year. That would be awesome. We will
Yeah.
definitely be there for all the days. We're talking about doing a bed and breakfast. We're talking about doing a B&B. I'm like thinking like 40 years ago, that's what people did was bed and breakfast. It's basically the same thing. But yeah, we're talking about doing a Airbnb, so that would be fun. We could actually have like people over too if we
We're going
wanted.
to be live from the card house every night.
The card house, the house of cards.
Susie, you come to the National, I will buy you a margarita and a walking taco.
Heck yeah. He's going to buy me one too. Charlie said he'd buy me one, so everybody wins. She said yes, about 11 a.m. now. Look at how good I am. I have other friends in Australia, and I don't talk to them as much as I used to, but it was pretty regular, and I always had to calculate in my head, like, okay, am I an asshole? Is it 3:00 in the morning there, or where are we at? So
Right.
yeah, it's fun doing that. First thing I do when I get up in the morning is do clock math. That's highlight of the day, right? I remember watching the Sydney New Year's Eve live on TikTok. I saw the Harbor Bridge was amazing to see all the fireworks. Yeah, I assume there's like, big things done in Australia. I just don't know that I've ever seen it. So that's pretty cool. Ziggy's on here. Welcome, Ziggy. In 6 months, I made 10K in sales last year. I just bought a 4K collection from a guy who has a whole card shop in a storage unit sitting for 29 years. Wow. My goal was, oops, I just took it off. 25K this year, but I think I can double that. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, put in the work and see what you can do. Long Ball says you guys gonna open Series 1 baseball this year. We did do that on a video last year, didn't we?
We did, yeah. We
That
had
was
a number of boxes of it.
yeah, that was very cumbersome. It
Marathon.
was a lot of video. I don't know that we would necessarily do that again, but yeah, I'll probably buy some Series 1. It's flagship, I think it's a must each year. Not a great return on it, but
No.
Gianlian and Yuta Tabuse.
Good
No
effort.
idea.
Good effort.
No idea. I don't know who those people are. Yi played for the Bucks, and Yuta was a son. Huh, interesting. They have walking tacos at the National in Chicago. Sign me up.
Heck
Yeah, and
yeah.
margaritas. You can get a margarita there too. So, Dan, the experience in Cleveland really pales in comparison to the experience you have in Chicago. Other than picking up our ticket this past year, which was kind of our own fault for that situation, or my fault more than anybody's, because I had to go to the stupid tax office before I left town and sort of set us back a bit. That will not happen this year. But yeah, outside of that, everything was pretty flawless. The VIP room, VIP room is legit. Realtor Pete is here. Hey Pete, yo boys, finally catching one live. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you for your efforts.
He always watches us on repeat, though.
Yep,
Pete
that's
and
what
I
he
talk
said.
every once in a while during the week, and he makes sure I'm aware that he catches the show. He was chatting with me earlier about a new, well, maybe it's not new, maybe I just didn't know about it, but eBay's got a feature now to schedule price changes on your listings.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know.
I don't lower your price 10% in 30 days or something.
Sure.
Like that. Yeah.
So kind of Dutch auction style almost, right?
Yeah.
You start at what you want and then you kind of take your discounts until it sells.
Right.
Intriguing. Have to think about that. So Dan says good luck to Max on his future endeavor. Very nice of you, Dan. Dan, come here and you met Max. You met Max when we were in Cleveland, but yeah, come to Chicago. We'll show you a good time. It'll be fun. For sure. Or Green Bay, even better. Come to the GOAT show even. So yeah, so I think I think this new year is going to be a good one. I think there's some challenges in the economy. There's some other stuff going on. It's basically out of our control. But I feel like many of us just through these conversations are in a good spot, right? To create some new wealth for ourselves in the next year. Whatever that may be, whether you're growing assets or building your business or getting more income, paying less expenses, things like that. Those are all great things to go after. Pete says, yeah, he's basically said the same thing I did. Haven't tried it yet, Dutch auction, but just saw this when I was manually lowering on some cards. That might be a pain in the butt thing to do as a bulk though, unless you're just going to lower everything. Yeah, I'll look into that this week and try to figure out if I kind of like that idea, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To move that inventory instead of keeping track of it and stuff, it just goes, okay, 30 days have cleared out. We drop it 5%, and eventually you're going to get to the right price. So, especially for me, because I overprice my cards on purpose. So it'd be nice to just maybe get that casual drop. I wonder if you can set what it drops to.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how.
So you could do 2%, 5%, whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how low it goes though. Can you set a floor?
I assume so.
Because I wouldn't want it to go down to 10 cents or something. Huh?
Sounds like we got some homework to do this week.
Yeah, there's always homework. It's funny because like when I talk to friends, people who don't really understand what it is I do to some
Mhm.
degree, they're like, "Oh, this must be great. You have all this inventory now. You've been doing this so long. It just runs itself." I'm like, that is incorrect entirely.
Yeah.
um, because it's such a fluid, ever changing thing. You have to kind of keep up with stuff.
I see we have a chat from Bradley there too that you jumped over just because we had to finish the thought with Dan.
Oh,
But we
here we
had a
go.
first timer at the Goat Show.
Nice. That's awesome. What did you think? Did you have a good time? Hopefully you did, and we see you back again. Um, to this end, I want to tell everybody, like, I know there's a lot going on at the show and we're running around and we're in boxes and stuff, but pop by and say hi. Like, we're obviously not going to recognize everybody. We don't really see your faces and necessarily even know real names, but hopefully you'll recognize us. I mean, this is me without my makeup, but just imagine me with the makeup, the Sunday show makeup. Um, but yeah, run us down and say, hey, love the show. Thanks for having us. Thanks for putting on the Goat Show. Whatever the case may be. Where's the bathroom? Whatever you need. Um, we would love to say hi. So,
Yeah.
all right. I think we are caught up. Oh, there's one more from Pete. He says, yes, it's in increments and there is a floor. Okay. That would be important because I don't know how far I'd be willing to go down either, on some of those where it's like the super bottom pricing as it is. So, this is cool. Okay. I just talked to somebody about this too. So,
Okay.
Max says prenup would 100% be signed if I was at that point. Want nothing to do with opening a shop, buying a card sorter, expensive but necessary at this point. Nearly 75 rows, 350K of back stock.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just talked to somebody who is doing this. It is for those of you who don't know, it is just gaming cards that you can do it with. But it pre-sorts I shouldn't say pre-sorts. It sorts. You put a stack of cards in it and puts them all together in order for you. And I think you can sort by different definitions. So you can do it by
Right.
like type of card. Okay, I want all the land, first. Or I think you can do it by set. You can do it by, I don't know. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of different ones, but I know they're very expensive, but they're also like super awesome. It's kind of like, adding the old 8170 and Card Dealer Pro, that kind of game changer. Awesome. Great move.
Yeah, I've
Let
watched the
us know how
video
it
of
goes.
those. It is pretty cool that you can kind of keep doing your thing and just set that to be doing the sorting in the background while you're doing other activities.
Yeah, and I know you're really busy as a vendor at the shows, but it would be awesome to see like a demo of that thing too at our show. We would love to, if that's an idea that you'd like to bring to fruition. We'd love to entertain that. So hit us up. Have you bought any of the Disney Wonder boxes? I bought 2 blaster boxes and I wasn't super impressed. Got a couple like shiny parallel type things, but and I've sold some cards too, but uh they're nowhere near Kakao or the Kaio stuff, in my opinion.
I have not picked any up. I've looked at them a couple times and just went a different direction each time.
Let's see. Oh, we got more chats now. Hold on. Yes, I had a good time. Got there at 9:30 and it was crowded. Got some good second and third year Griffey cards for my collection. Not a huge baseball guy, but the price was right. And I think
Good deal.
that's the thing. We really strive to try to have some of everything, right? I saw a dealer sell a card for over $2,000, so we have that stuff. Actually, a table I was shopping at heard a really good story from a vendor. I'm going to share this. I don't know who the vendor is specifically. It's not somebody that I do a lot with, but Hopefully he won't be mad if I share the story, but he had bought some card like organization things, if you will, on Temu.
Okay.
Temu was doing like a free gift thing or whatever, and they sent him a hobby box of optic basketball. Okay. So he was like, well, this is Temu. Like, I'm probably never even going to get this thing. Like, he didn't know what it was. It's like, whatever. Then this box actually showed up in the mail, and he was like, oh, interesting. So he saved it for a New Year's Eve night rip with some friends and his kids, I think. They did a thing where it was like, they played some game, and then you got a chance. If you won, you got to open a pack, whatever. So he pulls a Shea Alexander. Is that his name? Shea Gilgis Alexander.
Yeah.
Downtown. Out of one of the packs. So he's like, "This is crazy! Out of a free box from Temu, I pull one of the best cards in the whole set, and it was like $2,700 or something like that." So it's cool to see stuff like that, right? That doesn't enter my world every day with doing the low end stuff. But then we have Pokemon dealers, and we've got some non-sport dealers, and we've got some low end guys, and people selling bulk and dollar cards and all kinds of stuff. So I'm glad you were able to find something that was gonna fit into what you were looking for. And hopefully you can make it to the next one. March 29th is the next show.
Correct.
Max says 30K goal is to triple sales this year. Triple. Oof. You have ambition. I've seen a YouTube on the card sorter. Really amazing technology. Yes, it is. It is very expensive too. Susie says she's selling a few cards from the Wonder Boxes. Well, that's good to know, because mine have done okay, but they haven't, flown out the door. Now, your market where you are might be a little different too. I would assume most of your sales are going to Australia. So that might be something to think about, before you come over here. Hopefully you'll be able to do that. Assess what you really need, for sales, because this might be the right place to come to pick it up. When you get here, buy the stuff in the States and then bring it back to Australia, and where maybe there's a little bit better market. Oop, hold on, wrong button. There we go. If I came over for the National in July, where would be a good central? Honestly, you're kind of in luck, because where the show is this year, it's in a city with an international airport.
Right.
So your best bet would be to fly from Australia to O'Hare International Airport in Chicago, and then just take either rent a car or just hop in an Uber from there, because it's like right down the road.
Or take the train.
If you're not as familiar with the place, that's probably a little bit more tough, difficult. But that's what I would do. Make sure you get a close hotel or something to that effect. And you should be able to just hop off the plane right in at O'Hare, and 5-minute ride over, and you're at the venue.
Right.
So, but yeah, you want to look for, your landing flight to be O'Hare International, and I think that's as close as you're going to get.
Right. Yeah, the venue is literally just outside the terminal grounds.
Yep. As a matter of fact, when we're driving there, if we take the wrong turn, you end up in O'Hare, and then it's a real. I did that once, like 100 years ago, when I went to a comic book convention, and man, you were just stuck in some loops in that place. So try to avoid that. Susie also says, wow, Shea, oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Pretty sweet card. And yes, Australia 99% is where she sells, which makes sense. I mean, it's even before like all this pricing things with tariffs and stuff like that. when I would ship stuff to Australia, because I do have another business where I ship a lot of international stuff, or used to, don't as much anymore. But Australia was always very, very expensive to ship to. So I would imagine it's the same way coming back, if you were sending something to the States. So, in fact, a lot of my customers would like pool their orders and just make one order so I could ship them all at once. Just because, you pay $5 for something and then $35 to ship it. That's not so fun. She said she wants to come over there just to, what does that say?
Can't believe you're 10 cent and 25 cents.
Can't believe your tenant. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sometimes I can't even believe them. Like those LeBron cards and stuff. I'm like, what the heck is this doing in a quarter box? This is insane. But we find that a lot, people we get a lot of dealers that will buy big collections and they want to take the more high end stuff out of it, the case worthy cards, if you will.
Yeah.
And then they just want to recover their investment with the other stuff, and they're willing to let you dig and get some good deals. So that's kind of what we bank on. That's really what I've built my business on. Yes, location to Chicago to stay. So my suggestion is, and I don't think any of this is out there yet, but they will have blocks of hotels set aside. There is a housing partner to the show. And so if you go to their website and, where you would buy like tickets to the show and all that, they also have like links to different hotels you can get rooms at that they kind of block space out for. So once, my suggestion is to get on their Facebook page and their website and subscribe to getting notifications from them. And they'll send something out saying, oh, hotel reservations are open up now, because you need to get on that right away. They sell out pretty much instantly. Found that out last year. I've never had a trouble getting a room, and then last year was like, woof, can't get anything. So that would be my suggestion there, and just book right through the housing partner, and then you don't really have to worry about it. So essentially you would come in from the plane, you'd land at Chicago International O'Hare, tell the Uber driver, hey, I'm staying at the DoubleTree attached to, the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center. He'll drive you there, and literally it's a skywalk across, or a crossing of the street to get to the convention center, and pretty much everything else is right around there. And then you have to buy Giordano's pizza. That's the other thing. That's a requirement when you get there.
You had to work that in there, right?
Well, she needs to know the rules, Charlie. So yeah, one of the nights, you call up, you get your Giordano's. There's one right up the road from the convention center, and get yourself some deep dish, and you'll be good to go. All right, I think we are caught up again. No, we did that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we kind of touched on this a little bit with some things changing. Over time, every platform kind of has to adjust some things. Well, one of the big things eBay is doing starting next week, which is why we want to bring it up this week to try to get everybody to make some decisions on this before it changes for you without a choice. They are changing the promotional charge to from. So the way it is now, if you have promotions on your listings and Charlie clicks on my item and then purchases it through that ad, I pay the ad fee. Okay, the promotional ad fee, whatever that percentage is that you have set. Now, if Charlie clicked off of it and the second buyer came in and bought it, but didn't get it through an ad, there would be no promotional charge, right? Because if they found me and bought the card, it wasn't an ad link from eBay.
Mm-hmm.
Now what's changing is Charlie clicked on the ad, which created hey, somebody used our ad, there's that promotional fee, doesn't buy it, and the next guy comes in and does buy it, you're still going to be charged a promotional fee, because eBay looks at it like that chain of events wouldn't have happened had Charlie not seen my ad and clicked on that. Now, I think that's a stretch. I don't think that's necessarily a good practice to charge me for something where somebody didn't actually click on the ad. The buyer didn't actually click on the ad. But I digress. That's what they're going to. So Charlie and I have been talking about this quite a bit the last few months of what do we want to do with this. And my final approach, I already made my changes. I think, Charlie, you've made most of your changes to combat this, correct?
Yep.
My final decision, and I'm not going to give away all my information on this, but basically I was at a dynamic rate promotional schedule for a couple of years now, but the rates have gotten higher. You know, there's reasons for me to change this outside of the fact of how they're assessing the fee. So I greatly reduced what I'd be doing for promotions. I have a pretty good, number of followers in my store. Most of my sales are repeat customers, so the ads aren't quite as important as they once were for me.
Okay.
Because sales were okay back in the day, but then I turned promotional listings on, and boom, you got a ton of sales, right? So it was something that you had to do. I think as an established business, you're lucky in some ways with this change because I don't have to flip everything upside down. I just have to calm down from where it was, and I'll still get the business because I've built up my own reputation with the business.
Sure.
So now to kind of build on that, if you're a new seller, I think promotions will still be important for you to get going. You just need to decide what level you would want to do that at and be well aware that you could be paying all kinds of promotional fees on your sales for sales to customers who didn't even click on the ad. So you have to decide, where that fits in for you. So that's where I'm at. Very, very low promotional plan I have now. And so far, because I've had it for, I don't know what, 4 or 5 days now. I think I changed it the day before the GOAT show, Saturday, I believe.
Okay.
I haven't really seen a difference in my sales. I've still been getting pretty much the same sales, but I'm keeping more of the money.
Which is important.
Which is very important. So kind of fits in with my resolution earlier about, building income and being a more fiscally responsible business, things like that. I did a lot of work last year on cutting expenses and did good work on it. I got to a much better spot with that. This is the thing that I need to sort of resolve this year, with being a more established business with a regular customer base. And so this kind of forced my hand. Sometimes I like it when these changes come about because you go, oh, this sucks and I got to change everything. Honestly, I should do this anyway. So, okay timing for me that way. I was prepared to make some changes and reduce my obligations to eBay anyway. So, what do you think, Charlie? What steps have you taken? I think yours has been slightly different than mine. So
yeah. So to start the year, I removed all promotions, coupons, everything from my store to give a clean slate. And I'm going to use things very differently this year. I will have some coupons again, but I'm going to have more controls over them. I don't want things to be an always on. So they're gonna have more time constraints. It's gonna be selected inventory. So I'm gonna use them a lot. I will not use the technically the promotions at all anymore. At least I'm not planning to right now. I tried the offsite promotions for a while because there was a special going on that basically offset the cost. And if I didn't have that, it would have been a complete bust. And our products are very commoditized, right? A lot of quantity, a lot of products that aren't really distinguished from each other. So I feel like a lot of the promotions that I was running were more about a race to the bottom. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to have a race to the bottom. Now, if you're doing that, there's nothing wrong with that. But it no longer fits my goals for the year. I think heavily promoting works. Certainly you've had success with it, Adam, in your past.
Yeah.
And I think you have some qualities of your business that make it work for you, right? But I don't think it's a one size fits all approach. So I want to try some different things. What's interesting is I have not seen a significant change in sales since I pulled it all down.
Yeah.
So
Me either.
The only change I've seen is I haven't had the big multi-card orders, but I'm still getting some multi-card orders. So, I think, just being more selective with it this year is how I'll approach it, and only use certain methods.
So again, I think it's different based on where you are in the business, right? So if you're brand new, it's different. You got to pay to play a little bit more, because you're trying to make something for yourself. You got to do more giveys, right?
Yes.
When you have a more established business, obviously you have the customers, the reputation, the feedback, best practices, plenty of inventory. I think the other big advantage is number of listings. I think your store kind of promotes itself based on the fact that you have things people want, right? So if you have 100 listings, it's really hard to target everybody who's looking for something. You're not going to have something for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
When you're up to 50,000 listings, you can meet more demand. And when you're meeting more demand, you don't have to pay as much, shouldn't have to pay as much for the promotional side of things. Especially, like I said, with the new structure where they're going to be charging you, even if the guy who clicked on the ad is not the buyer.
Yeah.
That one's a little bit of a dig, in my opinion, to the seller. And I understand where they're coming from and why they're going to do it. And obviously their responsibility is not to the sellers, it's to the shareholders of the company. Excuse me. But as the seller, you get to make that choice. You get to decide how much you want to do. You want to pay to eBay, if you will, for finding your buyers. There's some other ways to do it. You can have really good, clean listings. You can price to market or slightly under market. You can, be established business with regular followers and buyers. You send out newsletters. You can, email coupons. Like do discounts. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it yourself without eBay just promoting it and then charging you for it. Yep. So, yeah, so a real positive change for both of us. We both have a slightly different approach, but it's really not too far off from each other. And so I think it's good. I think both of us are going to do better because of it. And that's what we really want to see for all of you that are sellers. Not that everybody here watching is, but for those that are, take some time and think about this one, because it will impact your bottom line. It could impact your volume. It could impact what you buy, where you sell. Maybe you choose to, approach some other platforms then, so that you're not spending as much on eBay to get your stuff out there. So I did an AI search today, Charlie.
You did?
I used some AI. Yeah, I was working on another project and I was in there and I was like, you know what? This GPT guy seems to know some stuff once in a while, so I'm going to ask him a question.
All right.
And it was a very simple question. I just wanted to see, like, okay, culminating all the information that's been, around over the years on this, what answer is it going to give me? And I asked it, what is the best way to sell a trading card?
Okay.
Right?
Very general question. Yep.
Very general question, but would the answer today be the same as the answer 10 years ago?
Right.
Probably not, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened.
Yep.
So, whereas my answer was obvious 10 years ago when I started my eBay store and things like that, it's complicated now. So I thought, okay, well, I want to see what this Chat GPT guy has to say. And basically, it gave me the exact data that I thought I was going to get. eBay was number one just due to the international marketplace and the amount of shoppers on there and so forth. I made some comments about live selling, how that's really grown in the trading card industry, and grading to sell, is a good way to do it. You got a card in a really good condition, you grade that, and then you sell it for a premium. So I pretty much got the answers that I thought I was going to get, but it was emphatically in support of selling on eBay. Now maybe eBay has some influence in the AI universe. I don't know, but just digging through what's happened over all these years, and now Whatnot's there and all these other things, Fanatics Live, Breakers, YouTube selling, trying to think of the other one, Instagram, selling on Instagram. Like there's Facebook Marketplace. Like there's all these things now that it would have to sort of calculate into that, and overwhelmingly it was eBay's still the best place to sell. So I liked that because it just reassured me a little bit that it's worth my time to figure out, my future strategy with eBay and make my changes and, continue to work on that platform. Because I put a lot of effort into it. I build a customer base. I've done a lot of, customer service on there and refining photos and blah, 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 all the things, right? So it was good to know, like, that's still worth my time, and it was worth my time when I did what I did.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's good for that to get some of that confirmation, right? So
yeah, the theory always was, and I think it was true at one point, but I believe that's changed, and obviously your results have shown that too. It used to be you have to promote, and you have to promote more than the last guy, or you're not going to get the sale. I just don't think it really goes that way anymore, because and I'm going to credit some of this to you and I, to be honest with you, because we've really preached this whole time about building a brand, right? Making your own identity inside eBay, not just, oh, this is an eBay seller. No, this is a store who sells on eBay. And I think there's been more growth in that sort of mentality and approach, creating a quality logo. I said this all the time, make sure you have a quality logo, get business cards, brand your stuff, put your name on it, make banners, whatever.
Yep.
Do live shows, do YouTube videos, do, all these things to separate yourself out. And I've seen a lot of the payoffs from that. I saw some pretty weird crap.
You do?
And I've built myself this little niche of, this is where I go to get this stuff. Do I need eBay to always help me out with that anymore? No. Do I need to sell it on eBay? Yes.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I was trying to just look at I was trying to get some reaffirmations before I go, okay, well, I'm going to do all this stuff, and this is my new life with eBay. I wanted to make sure, like, it was still going to be the place to be, and worth continuing to work with it.
Yeah, eBay is still king. No one can convince me otherwise.
Yeah. We got a couple other chats. Should I hit those quick?
Sure.
Let's see. Max says Gibsons and Fogo before Giordano's. LOL. I have had Gibsons. Gibsons is pretty good, but I don't think there's one near the convention center unless one has popped up since my experience there. So
I don't know
Giordano's would be the huh?
I don't know either of those places.
Yeah, I don't know what Fogo is. I'm not sure. For me, it's well, because we did this already.
Yeah.
For me, it's Lou Malnati's and Giordano's, and Lou Malnati's edges out Giordano's because of the cornmeal crust. And I think Charlie was kind of on the same page with me. Ethan's the other way. He's like, no, Giordano.
Yeah.
But it's part of the fun. Like deep dish pizza is Chicago, and there's lots of good restaurants, there that do it well. So if you're come, I think it's a good thing to experience. Susie's coming over with an empty suitcase. That's a solid plan.
Yes.
You'll definitely fill it. She loves pizza. Perfect. You're going to be in the right city for that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting. So this is somebody on the other end now. Okay. I'm promoting the hell out of my low end stuff. A guy I know opens an insane amount and gives me anything that's not super expensive. Well, that's kind of amazing. I'm sending anything around $10 to auction to avoid promoted fees. That's an approach that I've done myself too. Sometimes I'll just put it on auction instead if I know it's pretty liquid.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get up to the number, and you're right. You avoid any of the. Well, I guess you can do a promoted auction, but most people don't. And it's very expensive. It's way more than it is on a fixed listing. But yeah, that's a solid approach. Promoting the hell out doesn't necessarily. So Charlie buys sports cards, right? I list a card and I put this huge promotional rate on it. I'm like, you get this card in front of everybody you can possibly get in front of. Goes in front of Charlie. Charlie clicks on it to see what it is, and he's like, I don't want that. So just because it gets promoted doesn't mean you're going to get the sale. And I think that's what's dangerous with this, especially with this new change, because now Bob comes in casually looking for cards and he's like, oh, I like this card. I'll click on it and buy it. eBay didn't do anything to get that, but now I got to pay them because Charlie clicked on it and decided not to buy. So I don't know. That's good for you if it works and you're still maintaining margins and you're getting your sales and all that kind of thing, which I had done for the last couple of years, because the way I looked at it was I was in super growth mode still. I had my regular customers that would come buy from me and I didn't pay any promoted fees then, right? So the few that I did sell at promoted, I was willing to pay up because it could gain me a customer. Okay.
Right.
Cost of getting new customer is a thing. Even on eBay, it's a thing. So it worked. I mean, I was getting, 50, 60 new followers every couple weeks. But I'm well established now, so that doesn't show as much value to me in the new system as it did then. So you'll have to evaluate that. I would, crazy promoting, especially when you get the cards basically for free, kind of makes some more sense than if I were to do it. But I think it's something you definitely want to kind of keep checking back on and going, how much am I giving to eBay and what am I getting out of that? Because it's also work too, right? So you sell a card for whatever reason, I sold a card for 99 cents free shipping today. When I listed it, I must, instead of putting $1.99, I must put 99 cents.
Yeah.
So of course, after it sells, I get like 60 cents or something. So I'm going to take a loss on that because I got to pay 74 cents to ship it. Now, this is somebody who's not a customer of mine. It's a new potential customer. So that's fine. It still gives me a shot at getting the customer, small investment to get a customer. It wasn't an important card or anything like that. Card was fine to sell and move on. But yeah, I think that's something you're going to want to regularly look at and go, how much am I paying to get this business? And is it worth it? Let's see. Susie. 21,000 listings on eBay, guys. It's taken 15 months. Yeah. Yeah, I'm at just under 80,000 listings now, and it's been a couple of years, and and that's with a scanner too. So it takes a while. And the thing is you don't want to just keep building your listings either. Like that's not a great business strategy because that means you're not selling anything. So you should, realistically have some percentage growth in your listings. Yeah, as time's going, but you want to sell the best portion of that too. So if you're listing 500 listings and only selling two, that's kind of an issue. If you're listing 500 listings and selling 400 cards, now that's okay. Now that's a growth model. So
Right.
make sure you're looking at that as well. I'm curious if my sales will skyrocket if I'm promoting like crazy and other sellers panic and end their promotions. I mean, probably. I would think that would gain you some advantage in some areas. If if you're established, I don't know if it changes a whole lot. I have the same buyers, I shouldn't say all of them, but I have a good portion of buyers that are just back every few days and buying stuff. When I go to fill an order, sidebar here, when I go to fill an order on eBay, when I'm like going to print the label and stuff, and I click on I don't know if you do this, but I click on the customer's name.
Yeah, to see their past orders.
Yeah. And some of them I'm like, you had 212 orders for like 10 grand. Like, what is even your life, dude? You've bought that many cards from me. So it's really interesting when you see pieces like that. I saw some of that earlier on when the standard envelope program was invented and we started going into bigger volumes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I started seeing those kinds of numbers show up, 10th order and they've bought $400 worth of stuff from me. I'm like, this is like a legit business. Like this, they're coming to buy from me, not from eBay, from me. Right. Which made Shopify seem more like a realistic future venture as well. I'm kind of glad I waited because it's going to be a lot easier now than if I would have started from scratch back then.
Sure.
But do you need eBay? Yes. Is eBay the be all end all for you to be able to get a sale or get a customer? No. So you have to decide where that cost line is. And it's not perfect science for sure. And I agree with Charlie on the outside sales. I tried that too with total fail.
Yeah.
Russell says, does charging shipping hurt sales or does it not matter? I think it hurts sales. I'm still a free shipping guy. And I honestly, I like it too because it makes it easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have somebody buy something and then they buy another something, now they want an invoice because they want to reduce shipping amount and blah, blah, blah. And you just end up kind of chasing the chickens all day. I overprice my cards. So price in shipping, if you will, which a good seller, that's how they would do it. And when the card sells, it's fine. You technically paid for the shipping. It's just not an additional charge.
Yeah.
Right. So the most annoying things to buy in this universe are event tickets. Trying to think of what the other one is. Well, like concert tickets, that kind of thing, but that's all the same stuff. Oh, like let's say your internet bill, right? Your internet service at home. Because sure, the ticket to the concert is $50, but then you've got the venue fee and the Ticketmaster fee and blah, blah, blah. That ticket is actually $100. Yeah. Now you're pissed off because you're like, well, I was going to buy a ticket for 70 or $50, whatever it was. Now it's $100. I didn't plan for $100. Right? Just tell me the damn ticket's $100. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Same with your internet bill. Oh, your internet is $50 a month. Okay, that's a great price. Well, then there's an FCC user fee and a modem rental fee and a I don't know, airtime charge fee and a cable fee and blah blah blah. So now your $50 internet's now $78.98 a month, right? Just tell me the goddamn thing is $79, right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
for
hate that.
sure.
Hate that. Super pet peeve for me. I'd rather the customer come in and go, "The card's $2. I pay him $2. Everything else gets, I know there's extra cost in there. It's not a $2 card. He's going to use that to take care of all his, cost obligations on his end to get this thing to me, packed well, safely, shipped on time, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm done." So it's the easiest path for the customer.
Sure. And I
Have you?
agree. I think, especially on the low end stuff, free shipping matters. I think when you get to some bigger items and some unique items, maybe some unique packaging requirements, I think it's okay to charge shipping on some listings. The word that comes to mind is intentional. If you're going to charge shipping, there should be a clear reason why. But the vast majority of low end stuff, just free shipping included in your pricing.
So back in the day when I started on eBay, what everybody did was they sold the item for like 10 cents and then charged like $14 shipping.
Yeah.
Because of the way eBay's fee structure was, it got you out of some of the fee amounts. And then obviously it looked like you were getting this great deal on this item, but then there was this huge shipping charge, kind of deceptive to the customer in many cases. Customers hated it, and they walked away from all those types of sellers, and they went to the higher price seller but free shipping. So that data is out there, and so that's the model I built on, and I don't feel like that's something I would benefit from changing. All right, Max says Gibson's is right across the street. I had no idea. Connected to the DoubleTree. That would make sense. Yeah, because they always had a restaurant in there, so that must be it. So I think that's just a restaurant. I don't think it's like a straight up pizza place. And then Fogo de Chao is a Brazilian steakhouse on the other side of the parking structure. Never been there either. Good tips. Maybe I'll try those joints out. Hotel accommodations are going to be tough. Yes, obviously. All right, and I think we're caught up. So I think we're at almost the 2 hour mark. So we're right on target here tonight. I don't know. I feel like this was a good chat. I know I do most of the talking as I do every week. Tough Nuggies, it's my channel. You guys have to listen to me, I guess. But I appreciate the feedback and the participation in the chat, and of course you, Charlie, as well. So yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting year. I think some things. I don't think this is the last set of changes we're gonna see either.
No.
So be prepared to make your pivots and maybe change some of the way you do things. Maybe stop doing some things. I don't know, or start doing some things. I think that's the best piece of advice I could give for the new year is just pay attention and do what you need to do to keep yourself being successful.
Yeah, I would just say we give kind of what's worked for us a lot of times, and we give advice, but the big thing is you also have to individualize for your business. We all do this a little bit differently. None of what we talk about typically ends up being a one size fits all, right? Like you got to figure out the right tweaks for you.
Exactly. So covered a lot of stuff today. We talked about some different things changing, some things we're working on, and of course the goat show, our little baby that we still cuddle at night, if you will. So we appreciate everybody for being here. If you joined us live, thanks for doing that and participating in the chat. Hope you had a good time. If you're watching this recorded, remember 8 Central Standard Time every Wednesday night. We are live doing this thing. So try to join us. That'd be great. Like the channel, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that good stuff. And then don't forget about the Discord. It's coming back around here on the bottom of the screen there. That's a code for you to be able to get into the server. Talk about a lot of good stuff on there. It's free. You can share on there. A lot of sellers share their first sale of the day or pickups or things they're doing at a show, and it's just a fun way. You can go on there and promote your whatnot show that's coming up, stuff like that. So we really enjoy that, and that's been a great community there. All right, anything else to add? Otherwise, I'm done for tonight.
I just hope everybody's off to a great start in the new year. Keep listing, keep shipping, keep those cardboard dreams alive.
Remember, can't sell what you don't list. See y'all next week, same time, same channel.